profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account, and then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million pounds. And they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so with different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, and mainly one because they're nice and bright. So they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. That's very important, right? Because you want cars,
Very important. And also, like, people see me in, like, calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on air, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I am super excited to be here because right now we're going to be talking about freedom for journalists, right? And obviously the journalists in question are obviously, journalists who worked in Afghanistan and who helped report news that happened in Afghanistan to the United Kingdom, right? Now, there was this whole, appeal. They wanted to come to Britain, especially because, their lives were at risk as well, especially after the Taliban took control of the of Afghanistan. Obviously their lives were at risk as well, right? And they were trying to come to the UK, and finally they actually won the appeal to come to the United Kingdom. So let's talk about that situation in with a little bit more description, with a little bit more, analysis on how exactly that happened and what exactly happened. All right. Because it's very important for us to understand everything that is happening in Afghanistan, because it's definitely going to affect the dynamics of the rest of the world as well. All right. Now, I tuned into Relaks Radio, and we'll help you stay updated with the latest conversation, with, the very latest conversation and everything that you need to stay updated about. All right. And all you need to do is just text me or call me on 07852473473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would love to hear everything that you have to say as well. Okay, and don't forget to go download our app, because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that means you can listen in from either your iOS device or your Android device. And something else that you can obviously do is to go like us on our socials as well. Now you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that way you can always stay updated with the very latest news, with everything that we are talking about as well. Okay, now let's actually get back into our conversation, because we're going to be talking about freedom of journalists, right? Now, now more than 200 Afghan journalists who actually work with the British media are to be granted access to the UK after an appeal by this coalition of British newspapers and broadcasters. All right. Now, Dominic Raab, who happens to be the Foreign Secretary, has obviously agreed to issue visa waivers for the group after officials said that the government recognized the risks they took in pursuit of media freedom and the defense of human rights through their work. Right. So obviously, if anything's for sure, we know how much of their lives they put at risk as well when they were reporting news. Because the truth is, this is Afghanistan we're talking about, right? And the Taliban hasn't definitely had a very good, positive PR image, right? They've been known for, some of the brutality. They've been known for, taking away rights of women, for not necessarily giving freedom and liberties to women to do what they want to do, right? So obviously, because they put themselves at risk, because they put their rights at risk as well, the government has actually recognized these risks. Right now, the group will now be given leave to enter the United Kingdom outside immigration rules, handing them the chance to actually settle in Britain. All right. Now, they can actually be accompanied by their immediate family, such as a partner, and also dependent children under 18. All right. Now, obviously, we also need to talk about the chaos that is still surrounding the Kabul airport, right? We've seen how bad things are, and I don't know, but I don't know if you saw those videos, but I did see those videos, and it's absolutely heartbreaking, right? You're seeing all of these children, you're seeing all of these people actually putting their lives at risk, and they're trying to flee the country. There's planes that are full of people, that are full of children, and I don't know if you saw, but I also saw this video where a mother was actually giving her baby across this barbed fence to a U.S. Marine officer to essentially get the child to leave the country as soon as possible. And it's just an infant, probably a few months old, and that's just so heartbreaking. We also saw footage of people falling to their deaths from the planes, and that was absolutely heartbreaking as well, right? So with all of this chaos that is still surrounding the Kabul airport, there are still serious concerns about when the group will actually be able to fly out of the country, right? Now, media organizations, including the Observer and the Guardian, have actually appealed to the Foreign Office after it emerged that the journalists would not actually qualify to come to the United Kingdom under existing schemes. All right. Officials have also said that those who are qualified are still being contacted. All right. So make sure to stay tuned, because if you want to find out more about this, we will be right back after this break to talk more about this. But obviously, until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're writing? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one because they're nice and bright. So they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. But yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on air, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and it's almost the final few minutes of this show, all right? But don't worry, because we still have a lot of time left to continue this conversation, to share your thoughts, to share your opinions with me on this, on this conversation as well, all right? So don't forget to do that, because all you need to do is just to text me or call me on 078-52473473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would love to hear everything that you have to say. All right. Now, before we actually head into our conversation, I want to quickly remind you that you can, in fact, get in touch with me. All you need to do is just text me or call me on 078-52473473. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Okay, and obviously, something else that you can do is download our app, because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that way you can actually make sure that you are always informed and updated about all of these things. You're listening in from wherever you are in the world, and also that you are paying attention and keeping yourself updated about everything that is happening all over the world. All right. And now let's actually talk about, what we were talking about, because we were talking about how, journalists who used to work in Afghanistan, who are working in Afghanistan, have actually gotten the freedom, or they've actually been able to come to the United Kingdom, especially, after the government recognized some of the work that they did, right? Now, Rob actually said that we must protect those brave Afghan journalists who have actually worked so courageously to shine a light on what is really going on in Afghanistan. All right, and he also said that that's why they have granted these journalists and their media staff visa waivers to actually come to the United Kingdom. So, in an open letter last week, the UK's major newspapers and broadcasters actually said that their ability to keep the British public informed of events in Afghanistan over the past 20 years have actually been heavily reliant on the loyalty and commitment of these Afghan journalists, right? And even their translators and support staff. And now, a lot of other cases are also emerging of Afghans who have worked with British institutions, but they're still struggling to secure a path to the United Kingdom, right? Because there are more than 80 Afghans who have worked with the British Council and the Quanga that promotes British interests through education and culture, and that they're also saying that they have been left in diplomatic limbo, right? And that is terrifying as well, because look, they basically put their whole lives at risk to provide us with information, and now they can't even secure a path to come to the United Kingdom to protect themselves and to protect their families as well. So some are actually in hiding following the Taliban's swift return to power after being unable to secure places on refugee visa scheme for people who've actually supported the UK mission in Afghanistan. All right, now many of the Afghans who actually work to teach English or encourage education also say that they have yet to be contacted by British officials, and many fear that they will actually be left behind as well. Okay, so it's important to keep that in mind. However, now we're actually going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss more of this to discuss more about this. So until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow.